Now we've been joined by our fourth fastest qualifier, David Ragan, driver of the number 18 Interstate Batteries Toyota. And David, coming into this weekend, you knew that the 18 car had been successful here, winning the last two races. So obviously, I'm sure the pressure was there. But talk a little bit about today and coming home, fourth fastest and then the qualifying.
Yeah, everyone's reminded me often that the 18 car has won both races in the previous 2 years. But, that certainly gives you some confidence coming into the weekend. I spoke to Kyle this morning and, gave me a few things to think about, not necessarily for qualifying today, but, for happy hour tomorrow throughout the race on Sunday. So, I feel like I've got a lot of good guys surrounding me that if I ask them the right questions, they'll give me some good advice. And ultimately, it helps when you have a fast car. And I think that our Interstate Batteries Toyota has some speed. The handling hasn't been perfect today, but it's encouraging anytime that, you can make some small adjustments. The car does react, and even though you're still fighting some problems, you still have some speed. So it looks like all four Gibbs cars has some speed today. So we'll work on, tomorrow. I think tomorrow's practices will be very, very important to get a good balance for Sunday. But, all in all, I feel good about the weekend and can't wait to get going on Sunday.
All right, we'll take questions for David. Please state your name and affiliation, and we'll start with Lee.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. After 3 races with the team, do you finally feel like you're kind of getting your groove together? And before Kurt comes in here, the same question I asked to Harvick, you know what it was like to be at a premier organization. You're back at a premier organization again. What's it like when you're itching to get back into a car that you know is competitive and can take you to the front?
Yeah, I think that what was your first question?
Just acclimating to the team after 3 races.
Yeah. It's great to get to the racetrack and know everyone's name and get a feel for, their process through a weekend and how they communicate and how all 4 teams work together for the common good. And so that certainly does make things a little easier. I've been a little disappointed with just our overall results on Sundays. We've had, moments of brilliance through the weekend, but we really haven't been able to put an entire weekend together. So it's encouraging to get back to the racetrack and again have some speed. And this weekend is very, very important to get a good run and obviously just set the tone for the next few races. So as far as being on a smaller team and being hungry to get to a more competitive program, I think in the Sprint Cup Series sometimes your careers go in different directions, and I think that every driver, maybe an exception of 1 or 2 over the years, have all had ups and downs and been more successful with multiple teams. And so in my situation, leaving Roush, going to Front Row Motorsports, I knew that I had a great opportunity to help a smaller team and meet some new people and, still work on some of my skills. But the resources and all the tools that the larger teams has, it's really remarkable that a smaller organization can even keep up with the larger teams. And so, kudos to NASCAR for keeping the rules as tight as they have over the years that will allow, a Harry Scott Motorsports or Front Row Motorsports or a Phoenix Racing over the years to win a race or to qualify in the top 10 or get a top 10 finish. But I think over the last few years I've worked hard to try to make David Ragan a better driver. But when you get to a team like Gibbs or a Hendrick or Stuart Haas, you're surrounded by greatness. You definitely have to elevate and not make any mistakes. And there's some really, really good drivers, really good crew chiefs and engineers that are out there, and then they make you a better driver. And so just in the last few weeks, the tools that have been, at my fingertips and some of the information just to help me drive and be a smarter driver, it's been unbelievable. And so it's something that's definitely given me a shot in the arm to keep digging and keep working hard, being a young guy.
All right, we'll go to Wolfgang next.
Wolfgang Monse from Germany, Rennsport Press Engine. David, you started the season in a Ford and as a replacement driver for Kyle in Toyota. Are the cars very different in driving behavior or setup, or you didn't feel any
Yeah,
difference?
I really can't give you a good description because my only Ford race this season was the Daytona 500. So it was on last year's rule package, and it's at a speedway race where a lot of things that we have to work on at a Phoenix or Vegas or certainly here, you don't have to worry about at Daytona. So I don't really know until later this season, and depending on how everything shakes out, I don't have a good, accurate description on the differences. All I know is what I've known since Atlanta, and that's just been in a Toyota Camry.
All right, we'll go up front to Lewis.
Louis Frank of Reuters. Slightly unfair, again, because you've had only 3 races in a Toyota, but there seems to be a gap, as an outsider to cockpit, seems to be a gap between the Toyotas and the Chevys and the Fords. Do you have a sense? Do they tell you what's the gap, what to do about it?
They probably screen and filter a little bit what they tell me, and that's only fair. But I think that everyone's at a small disadvantage from some of the GM cars right now. I think that not from a manufacturing standpoint, but it just so happens that the Hendrick team and Stewart-Haas team, even the Childress team to an extent, seem to be a little bit more consistent from the different types of tracks that we raced on. I would put my money on a Toyota this weekend. I think the odds are in our favor. We've got some really good speed with the Michael Waltrip cars and the Gibbs cars, so that can change really quick, and that's something that you always see in this sport. It's a continuing moving target in a cycle that one team gets a small advantage, and how long can you hold on to it before the other guys figure things out? And at the moment, I think the GMs definitely have a small advantage. I don't know what it is, but they do have a small advantage, but that could go away pretty quick.
All right, Kay, go ahead.
Kay Presto, Cars and Competition. Being that Kyle has run so successfully here, how much consulting have you done with him on how to handle this particular track?
I've done a good bit. I speak to Kyle once or twice a week, some by text, some by phone, and he can certainly give you some good tips. But the team has a lot of good information on trends from the beginning of a run to end of a run, qualifying, how the track changes throughout a weekend. But there's also a lot of other moving targets. You've got a new tire this year. You've got a new engine package, a new downforce package. And so there are a lot of different things. But yeah, you can, just like Kevin was saying, every race you run, you make some mental notes. Sometimes drivers can remember better than others. I try to write some stuff down so I don't forget. But you look back at those notes, and everybody sees and feels and hears different things. So yeah, Kyle can definitely help out some, and so can Matt and Carl, Denny. They're great guys. But spotters can help, crew chiefs can help, and so I definitely lean on everyone to try to see what they've had in their experience here that makes them good.
All right, we'll take our final question from Bob.
Parker, ESPN. I mean, I know you weren't in this car last year or Toyota last year, but do you get any sense that the Toyota teams are still getting used to the new nose that they have for this season?
I've heard a little talk about the nose, a little talk about the engine package. So yeah, I still think there are some growing pains and understanding what their limits are, how aggressive they can be, and how to get the most out of their Toyota Camry parts and pieces. So, and I think that's the case with any manufacturer. As you go to some different racetracks, these first 5 or 6 races, it's really a perfect schedule, to have a speedway, a couple of downforce tracks, a short track, and then we go to Martinsville. So there's going to be a different group of issues when you get to Martinsville, with the low-speed corners and accelerating out of those tight corners with a lot of, torque that you need with the engine package. So, yeah, time will tell how each manufacturer develops, but I think the Toyota guys, they feel pretty confident with where they're at and where they're going.
David, congratulations on your solid starting position, and we thank you for coming in this afternoon.
Yep, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Friday,